Hi, I'm Dr. Patrick Andersen of Madison Maximize Living. Do you want to take more charge of your health? What you do on a daily basis matters. Join Stacy Hansen and myself as we cover breaking news that helps you and your family get well and stay well naturally. Coming up next.
Welcome back to Maximize Living with Dr. Patrick Andersen. We're talking natural healthcare news today and maximize natural healthcare news today. So we've got some great articles for you from around the web with some great information. I've got one here, Dr. Pat, about the 9 best foods for your brain. So let's see how many of those you eat. Yeah, that's the one thing you really need. So let's see how many of these you eat. There's 9. So for your brain, the best foods are eggplant, and that was new to me because we haven't really talked about that as being good for your brain before.
Yeah, that's a new one I've seen listed too, and there's just every vegetable has something to offer, and fruit.
Yeah, so you really can't go wrong as long as you're sort of eating the rainbow of colors on fruits and veggies. It actually has been shown to help with memory loss. Cocoa, I bet we're all eating that.
Hopefully.
Yeah, but you want to watch the sugar,
I'm doing
though.
my share.
Yeah, picking up a little bit of some other shares too. But yeah, as long as you're watching the sugar, it sounds like the cocoa has got some great stuff to improve the blood vessel function in your brain. Cruciferous veggies, that's broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. They're all rich in this sulfur-containing compounds that protect your brain from oxidative stress. So again, another veggie, berries. Gotta love berries. We've talked about berries, blueberries.
Rainberries, yeah.
Being a great food for that, and they mentioned blueberries here specifically, but I think some other berries are included in that too. Improve your memory capabilities, reduce inflammation in your brain. Whole grains too, you always hear whole grains are always good for so many things, and also for your brain as well.
We try to eat a little less on the whole grains and more fruits and veggies. We get so many grains, and there's some inflammatory aspects to some of the whole grain foods, just to be aware of it. Moderation on those.
And then there's also fatty fish, which we've talked about a lot.
It just doesn't sound good, fatty
No,
fish.
it doesn't. But it's actually good in this case. We talk about salmon a lot, but I think one of the last times we did talk about sardines, because you were a little bit iffy on those, but they're actually, they make them headless now.
Sardines.
Did you, since we talked about it?
But I bought them.
Good for you. Yeah, they're pretty good on
So
crackers.
try new foods, it's good for you.
Yeah, see, he's a good example. Halibut is another good fatty fish, which I don't normally think of when I think of those. I usually think of salmon. Walnuts too, of all the nuts, walnuts specifically were called out as having a lot of good antioxidants, and again, those omega-3 fatty acids.
They're just so valuable to have a few walnuts every day or every other day, a small handful.
So a great snack just to have, and so portable too. Legumes too, so that's like your split peas, lentils, beans. They're also really good for cognitive decline too, reducing your risk for that.
And some good sources of protein.
So they'll fill you up too, again, a good snack. Peanuts are considered a legume, but I know you've said those are a little bit inflammatory sometimes.
You're better off with an almond or a cashew or a walnut or a pecan.
So some better choices there. And then lastly, green tea. Again, you want to get the ones that have minimal to no sweeteners, but that's great for you too. Again, got some good antioxidants in
2, 3, 4
there.
cups of green tea is just awesome.
A day,
Yeah.
great. So yeah, so stick that.
So like
in
1
all
cup of
day.
coffee, then switch to green tea. You're really getting a huge amount of antioxidants.
So do all those, and you might just find that you're remembering things a little bit better and feeling a little sharper.
Aging more slowly. Well, I've got a quick one here. This will be good news for those with back pain and who've been told they've had herniated discs or have one now. This is a study from Pain Physician, published in PubMed, and it's the Pain Science Summary of Zong, 2017, and it says that 66% of patients who receive conservative therapy, anything but surgery, their discs resolve. They spontaneously deherniate. So that's a great finding. So, and we've known that if people have disc herniations, we'll usually see pain below the legs into the calves and feet, often a foot drop. Pain doesn't moderate very well. Coughing or sneezing may hurt. It's quite serious. And obviously if you get bladder problems or bowel problems, that's an immediate need for attention. But for most cases, you can wait and get some conservative care and let that deherniate in the disc. So it's just a good study. We've known it for a long time, and here's a study saying 66% conservatively will respond.
That's great news.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great news. There's definitely hope for that. Well, stay with us. We'll have more natural health care news right after this. Welcome back to Maximize Living with Dr. Patrick Andersen. We're talking natural health care news today, and I've got a couple here on sleep. So let's talk about that first, if you don't mind. Figuring out from Business Insider here how much sleep you really need. As you know, the recommended usually from doctors is 7 to 9 hours, and there's research here from the National Sleep Foundation that more than a third of Americans say that their sleep quality is pretty poor. But there's some interesting things here in this article talking about people's natural chronotype, when you sort of feel most awake and when you want to go to sleep. People do have a little bit of a schedule of when they'd like to rise and go to bed. If you need to adjust your natural chronotype, it says here that basically you just want to look at light, especially sunlight. Your body responds to light, so you make sure when it's time to wake up that you're getting a lot of light in your room, you're really getting a lot of that sunlight, and then when you want to start winding down, sit in the dark and get that hormone melatonin going, which definitely means maybe not looking at your smartphone or your TV as much.
So much stimulation.
All that light too. So you can sort of adjust yourself a little bit that way, but it says basically if you want to know how much sleep you really need, try to let yourself sleep naturally for a few days to a week. Just go to bed when you're tired. Get up when it feels natural to you. Limit your alcohol and caffeine while you're doing it, and get some sun during the day, get some exercise, and you'll have a better idea of what your body really needs. So it's worth trying.
Yeah, and what gets me is 1/3 of people don't sleep well on any given night. And that's a lot of people, and it has such effects on overall health and mental function and accident proneness, and it's huge. And hormone balance, it's one of the most important things we can do is make sure we get a good night's sleep.
So you have permission to get a nap right now from
Yes,
Dr. Pat.
I like naps. Naps are good. I've got one on sleep positions. I always get asked what's the best sleeping position in my office. And here's an article from Pop Sugar. Imagine that name. I would change that.
I like it, yeah.
But I like the article. It just talked about the benefits of each position of sleeping. So sleeping on your back is thought to be really good for balancing your body weight, keeping your organs aligned, and preventing neck and back pain. And they also suggest putting a pillow under your knees. I'm not so sure if that's all that necessary, but it can be helpful. If you're the cons, or if you're a snorer, you might want to turn to your side. And of course, people who snore a lot are more apt to have sleep apnea, which is a major concern for oxygenation of your body. Sleeping on your side is a good position. It's you can put a pillow between your between your knees, and that helps some of the turning or twisting of the back. And it's better for your body overall to make sure your head is level and not too low with no pillow, and not too high with too much of a pillow. Keep the spine level. And the cons, there really aren't any. I would say one thing, if you have shoulder problems, sometimes sleeping on your side can be a problem.
Makes sense.
And you might want to just turn a little bit, a quarter turn or so more, and that'll take some pressure off the shoulder. So if your arms are going numb when you're sleeping on your side, you probably want to alter that position. And then stomach sleeping is the worst. It'll arch the back too much, it says, and it puts pressure on your discs and your nerves in your neck, because you have to turn your head to breathe. So that'll not the best position, and try to avoid that. It may feel better when you fall asleep that way. It might feel good, but then over time it gets to wear on your spine.
Yeah, probably won't feel so well when you wake up in the morning. And just to kind of dovetail with that quickly, and also in Business Insider, it says here that getting enough sleep, maybe if you have sleep apnea or something like that, could increase your risk of dementia. So it's something that you definitely want to make sure you're getting quality sleep on. It's been shown that people, regardless of their age, if they're not sleeping well, they had more biomarkers of Alzheimer's disease. So it can happen at any age.
Yeah.
The damage can
Right.
start.
And not just one bad night's sleep, but if continually, then that's sure is a concern.
So it's definitely something you want to think about. Well, stay with us. We'll have more right after the break. Welcome back to Maximize Living with Dr. Patrick Andersen, talking natural healthcare news today. We've had a lot of good insight already, so we've got even more to share with you here. From dailymail.com, it's talking about working out and whether you should use light weights or heavier weights for your muscles, but it's talking here about how you'd actually want to work out your nerves. To increase your strength. It's not so much about working out your muscle. And the best way to work out your nerves, it's saying here, is to actually use heavier weights. So I've been hearing more and more, use heavier weights with fewer reps rather than, sometimes it's popular to do the lighter weights with lots of reps. But I've actually switched to heavier just because it takes less time and you can do less reps.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's good in not just for building strength, but for your nerves as well.
Yeah, the nerves will fire strong because they have to recruit more muscles, and you'll build strength faster.
So
When
that's
you go heavier. But again, the concern I would think is if you go too heavy, you can injure yourself. So you have to have really good form and build up to it.
So how do you know if it's too heavy? I've heard you should be able to do maybe 6 to 8 reps entire.
Well, when I do bench press, usually I can't get it off my chest. It's too heavy.
Yeah,
and I'm saying, help me.
Yeah. But you want to challenge yourself just enough.
Yeah. So work on 10 reps and then 8 and 6s and things like that. You can kind of pyramid your repetitions.
Okay.
But always with a spotter if you're doing something like a bench press.
Yeah.
And then start light. Start lighter and keep adding up and reducing reps till you go heavier. Because the worst thing is just think you can handle something and then strain a joint. And it's easy to hurt the neck, shoulders, and back. So, but if you build up, you can actually strengthen it and prevent injuries. So, and that's not our nature necessarily. We want to just go for it right away.
Yeah.
And then so you can get sore later. Often people don't realize a day or two later they start hurting somewhere. It's because it went so heavy.
Oh, is it? So that's not normal? You shouldn't really have that?
You shouldn't have that. You probably went too much if you feel it later. Sometimes you feel it right away.
Yeah.
But later is when you're concerned too. So
good to know.
Be cautious of that delayed response. I've got one here on the latest research on backpack safety from Optimal Health University. Since it's school time, will be starting to be happening here
really
again.
Quickly.
Choosing the right backpack is really important. They say here, choose one with padded shoulder straps, waist belts that strap around the hips, and they distribute the load better to the pelvis and hips. And they're saying here that having it up too high on the shoulders really causes a lot of problems. If you ever watch someone carry a backpack, you see this horrible forward head posture. And it really trains and even permanently can deform the posture. So we want to keep that low, the weight down, and then no more than about 10% of the person's body weight.
Okay.
And then the duration that someone carries the backpack, like walking a mile home, was the biggest factor, more than any other, in determining if it was harmful for a child. So keep it low, keep it lighter, 10% of the body weight, longer back shoulder straps that are padded so the weight can be centered lower, and use the strap around the waist, and of course loading heaviest items closest to the back.
Interesting. That's good to know too, because I think a lot of times you don't think about, especially the weight, putting it around the waist like that.
But if you've seen posture of the kids walking around with this, and even the study here showed that a significant problem with backpacks in college students, because when you wear a backpack, it can decrease your pelvic motion, and that can create back pain.
Oh, interesting.
So there is more wheeled backpacks coming. They're wheelies, so you can carry them or wheel them, and I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I wish they would have had that more back in my day.
I don't know, I picked up my son's backpack sometimes and it was like 25 pounds.
Yeah, we get a lot of textbooks in there. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, definitely good for back to school to keep that in mind as you're purchasing school supplies. Stay with us, we'll have more natural healthcare news right after this. Welcome back to Maximize Living with Dr. Patrick Andersen, talking natural health care news today. And Dr. Pat, I've got one here that'll probably be a pretty popular topic. Everyone wants to stay wrinkle-free, naturally, if they can, of course. This is from Optimal Health University, but it's got a lot of great tips in here, so let me share them with you.
Sure.
So as you know, what causes wrinkles, age obviously, but gravity is a big part of it. Collagen changes, UV light, lack of hydration, smoke, and pollutants. So how do you get around this? Well, the number one tip they say here is just to relax. Stress and that cortisol levels in your system can really cause you to age. Stress speeds up your aging process, and the older you get, the longer it takes your body to recover from that. So just try to relax. And number two, another biggie is to quit smoking. That's so hard on your skin and many other parts of your body as well. But if you smoke a lot, smoking 35 packs or more of cigarettes a year, you were almost 11 and a half times more likely to get wrinkles than non-smokers.
So, and they put a number on that. That's a lot.
So it's definitely proven. You also want to use sunscreen, but we've talked about on the show about trying to use natural sunscreens. A good ingredient that I use sometimes too is titanium dioxide. That's a mineral, so it actually is a barrier between your skin and the sun, so that's a good one to use. But there's some natural products here too, Dr. Pat. It talks about almond oil, which is a new one. I hadn't heard that. You had mentioned an oil too one time.
Coconut and even olive oil has some sun protector factor of about 10.
So you could just slather that on as well. And staying hydrated, that's a good easy thing to do. You want to drink a lot of water. Experts say you want to drink half your body weight in ounces each day. So if you weighed 140 pounds, that would be 70 ounces of water. So stay hydrated, get your antioxidants in. If free radicals come into contact with your skin from all sorts of environmental factors, toxins, UV radiation, so you want to have the antioxidants to sort of undo that.
And that's your berries and your veggies and your fruits.
Yep, which we're always telling you to do. Get your fruits and veggies. The dietary antioxidants have a lot of power to halt that. They're talking here, especially they say for skin, yellow, orange, and red vegetables are particularly effective. So you want to hit those. Topically applied vitamin A, this is a good one. I could vouch for this too. Retinoids work really well. It's a version of vitamin A, a derivative of vitamin A, I think. But it not only helps repair your skin, but it also prevents photoaging of the skin from UV light. So that's a good one to do. Then you want to, again, eat more anti-wrinkle foods. You want your antioxidants,
Doesn't
also
that sound
vegetables.
Funny? Anti-wrinkle foods?
Yeah, anti-wrinkle foods. So you want, for so many reasons, want to get those fruits and veggies in. They talk here about veggies, but also legumes and fish, olive oil, and low-fat milk products were shown to be, people that eat a lot of those had less wrinkling, but people that ate more meat, sugar, margarine, butter, and whole milk products, the more they ate, the more wrinkling they suffered.
We'll do anything to get you to eat healthy foods.
Yeah, so if we have to appeal
wrinkles
to your vanity, we'll do that. So there's again omega-3s and a fish. So you wanna start taking on some of those things, and then that way you can avoid some of the more some of the chemicals.
We always think of the topical application of things, but really so much comes from the inside when you give the proper nutrients, antioxidants. To heal, get healthy skin from the inside. Because what you eat really does come out of your skin. You know, it's where we lose a lot of toxins through our skin, a lot of respiration and sweat. And so the better food you eat, the better your skin.
So, and to drink water too. It can be as simple as that, and free too. Well, stay with us. We have more right after the break.
Thank you for watching Natural Healthcare News. With better information, you can make better choices. Choose to eat well, move well, and think well to the best degree possible. For healthy structural care, one of the best decisions you can make is to have a chiropractic checkup. Chronic pain, degeneration, and suffering can be helped with chiropractic care. Call 608-833-1282 for an appointment today. For Maximize Living, I'm Dr. Patrick Andersen. Until next time, live well and God bless.